Is going to be blindly picking my December TBR. I've been wanting to do a kind of video like this for quite a while, and you guys will be very proud of me, but I actually completed most of my prompts from October and November in November. I think I only didn't get to 2 of them, but one of them was an extra prompt that I didn't think I was going to get to anyway, and another one is going to be a book. Well, actually, I didn't get to 3 because I also didn't read the trilogy that I kept on saying that I was going to read. I just didn't get to them. I ended up just running out of time, but I stuck to my TBR this entire month. I didn't drift once. I read literally every single book that was on my TBR. It's just that, again, I just simply ran out of time to read them. So there was just other books that were priority over the series that I really want to read, but hopefully I will be able to squeeze those in before the year is over. But I thought, since, it's almost going to be Christmas and this is for December, I cannot believe we're already picking my December TBR. It's went by so quickly. It's like insane how fast it goes. Sorry, there's no brightness. That's better. So I have these numbered 1 to 23, and basically I'm just going to pick them and see if we get to them. I'm not going to obligate myself to get to these. I just thought it would be really fun because I wanted to do a kind of unwrapping for you guys since it's December, and what better way to do that? I bought these envelopes a couple of months ago from Michael's, so they're all reusable shipping envelopes. They're not wrapping paper, so I can reuse them whenever I want to, and then I just don't have to throw the paper away. So I did take out a couple of books on my shelves as well. It's not all from my TBR cart. And these ones down here, I will just get to next year. I actually only own 23 envelopes, but I think 23 is enough books to choose from. So let's stop babbling. And before I get into picking the numbers, I think I am going to use the number wheel, but we might switch it up and also use the random number generator as well, depending on what the wheel lands on, because I feel like sometimes the wheel lands on the same numbers. Depending on where it is, as it's spinning gradually before you actually spin it, I feel like we don't get enough of a variation sometimes. So we have the numbers 1 through 23. Like I said, I only have 23 envelopes. We are going to set it to 1 to 23, and it's on a pretty random. Actually, it's about to go to 1, so let's wait until it gets to 19 or 18 or something, and then we'll spin it from there, because I want, like I said, a little bit of variation. But I'm so excited to do this. I've been wanting to do this for so long, but I just obligated myself to read most of the priority books that I wanted to, and I did get to most of the ones that I wanted to read this year. So we'll see what we get first. I have no idea what are in these, so let's go ahead and spin the first one, because when I was packing them backwards, they weren't facing me, so I didn't know what book was going in what numbered envelope, so that made it as blind as possible. So when I was picking them, when I was wrapping them, I was facing them downwards, so I couldn't see the number. I was just putting the book in it. So, okay, so the first number we got is 16. This is so exciting. Okay, so 1 through 12 is up here, and 13 to 23 is down here. So this is 13, so 14, 15, 16. Okay, so this is the first one. Depending if I can get these out, because watch, I probably picked one of the tall ones. No, I didn't. Okay, let's see. So we got number 16. I have no idea what this is. That's the whole reason to do it blindly. So I'm going to show you guys first. Oh my god. That is so funny. This is the first book that I packed. And also, this was the one I was really, really hoping to get in this. I actually just bought this book, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. So I was thinking about squeezing this in December before the end of the year is over because I really wanted to read this. So this is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. And I just picked up the paperback because the paperback just came out. And Barnes & Noble just got this like a couple of weeks ago. So it is actually still full price, but honestly, again, I've heard amazing things about it, and I think this is a 2024 release, correct me if I'm wrong, but we will go over these books once we pick them all. So this is the first one I got. That's really exciting. You know what? I think we're just gonna, no, forget it. We're just gonna put them up here after we're done choosing the numbers. Okay, so 16, I'm happy with that. So now we are going to spin it again from 16. Sorry I didn't show you guys the first time. I was describing something that I didn't remember to tell you guys before. Okay, so I think we got 5. Okay, number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm going to pick 8 books just because, like, this is just too much fun. And since it's not prompts, it's a little bit less limiting and a little bit less pressure to, like, get to all of them because this is just for fun. So we have 5. So let's see what number 5 is. I'm going to pull it out for you guys first. Why are we having the best luck? These are already on my TBR for December. So I put this on a previous TBR a couple months ago, but I just ended up not getting to it. But I actually did read my 3rd Catherine Center book this past month. So now I've read 3 of her books so far. But as you guys know, I am working on reading Catherine Center's entire backlist because she's one of my favorite authors and I just want to read all of her books. I really do enjoy her writing. So we got How to Walk Away by Catherine Center. This is awesome. So we got a romance and we got a fantasy already. So we already got a good mix of books. So I think that's so funny how I'm getting like 2 books that I already knew that I was going to read in December anyway, because I really wanted to get to this. Why did it just reload? I hate that. So we're just going to have to wait until it gets to 5, and then we're going to spin it, because it's not fair if I just like let it randomly spin from nowhere. So because it landed on 5. Sometimes it just reloads and it's so friggin' annoying. Why is there an ad? I hate this picker sometimes. I really do. I'm trying to skip this and it's not letting me. What the heck, dude? That was so stupid. Okay. Now it finally stopped. Okay, so now we are going to spin it as soon as it hits 5. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and spin again. So far, we're getting a pretty good mix of numbers. I think we got 9 or 8. We got 8. Okay, let's go with 8. So we have 1, 2, 3. I think this one is 8. Yes. So we have 8. So we finally got a brown envelope. Again, these are all completely random. So there's no like color coding to any of these. We're just going to open it up. So we got number 8, and let's see what this one is. Oh, okay. So I am kind of working on reading most of her books as well. We'll see if we get to this. So this is Allie Hazelwood's Love on the Brain. I actually have not put this on any previous TBRs before. So if we're in the mood for it, we'll read it. But I already have kind of the romance mood reads picked out that I want to get to before the end of the year. But this doesn't bother me if this is on the TBR. But if we draw another one of her books, I might put it back and draw another number. But we got Love on the Brain, and I actually have read 3 of her books so far. And for some reason, like I've said before, every time I put an Allie Hazelwood book on my TBR, I just want to read her books. And for some reason, I keep on buying them. I don't know why. I just feel like I could have the potential to actually really like her, because I really did enjoy Love Hypothesis, and I read that back in September. I can't believe that was already September, so I haven't read one of her books in over 2 months. So yeah, that's a fun choice. Go me for picking that number. Thanks, number wheel. Okay, let's spin for the next number. So far we've drawn 3. Did we already land on 18? Okay, we got 17. Did we land on 17 or... Oh, no, we landed on 16. Okay, so we got 17. Okay. All right. So we got 17, which is this one. Again, if I could get it out. Okay, so this is 17. Don't know what these are. Maybe I should just close my eyes and show you guys first. I have no idea what this is. What did I just say? That's really funny. I'm like, if we get an Allie Hazelwood one, I'm just going to pick another number. So that is exactly what's going to happen. How do I pick the same author then? What? That is ridiculous. That has to be a fake kind of thing. Like, I literally just said if I draw another one of her books, literally just before this. I mean, you literally just saw me say that. So I'm going to pick another one. I'm sorry. I'm going to put this back on the cart. But I obviously know what's in this now. But we're actually just going to set it to the side because I'm not going to pick 2 of her books. Like, I don't really do that. Not that I have anything against reading the same author, but there's also, like, other romance authors that I would like to get to besides Allie Hazelwood. And again, I've already read 3 of Allie Hazelwood's books. So there are other authors that I have a couple of books by, like, from, like, Catherine Center, Hannah Boehm Young, Jessica Joyce, that I would rather get to over reading another Allie Hazelwood book when I already have one of her books on the TBR already. Okay, so let's spin again. Sorry about that. I think that's so funny, though. Like, what are the odds of that? Okay. Why are we getting such close numbers to each other? Okay, we got 19. Let's see if we have better luck with 19. So I just love how it literally just picks the number right next to the one that we just chose. And it's so funny because I closed my eyes for this one. Okay, I literally have no idea what is inside this one. So I really cannot tell by just like feeling it. Ooh! You guys, I still have not read this trilogy, and you know how I keep on putting this on TBRs and I just end up not getting to it? So this is a sign, because I wasn't going to put it in here because I was already going to put it on my TBR for December because I'm like, I have to read this. I have to. And even if I don't get to it in December, I want to get to it before... at least before January, like maybe the last 2 days of December, the last 2 days of December, so I can at least start it. But this is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I've been dying to get to this trilogy, and just for some reason, I haven't read it yet. So this is a sign because this also went on my November TBR, and again, I just simply ran out of time to get to this trilogy, so we are putting this on the December TBR, and I am determined to read this trilogy before the year is over. It just sounds so good. And literally, the Kindle book, because it's on Kindle Unlimited, it says it only takes 5.5 hours to read this. So I could binge this in a day. So we got Daughter of the Pirate King. That is so funny. Okay. But I'm telling you, if it draws another number that is so close to the previous number like it just did, I might just switch over to the random number generator. I mean, we did just pick 4 books with the color wheel. The number wheel. Now I might just switch to the number generator. But also, that's not really fair because I already picked. But then I can just count how many envelopes I have left. So we'll see. Let me just see what it draws. I might just stick with the wheel. I don't know why I keep on forgetting to show you guys. Okay, so it literally picked 16. That's so close to... I'm going to spin again. We're spinning again. Because that's, like, annoying. I think that might have been the Allie Hazelwood envelope. Okay. Now we finally got something on the other side. We got 2. Okay, number 2, which is up here. All right, so we got 2. Don't know what this is. Okay, let's just pull it out. And I really have no idea. Oh, okay. We got Verity by Colleen Hoover. I honestly don't know if I'm going to get to this, but it is a fun pick. I've actually been wanting to read this for a while. I actually have not read any Colleen Hoover books this year. I've only read 2 of her books, which is It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. I was first getting into reading last October. I've only been reading like obsessively for a year now, actually, because I just started reading more in November. In October, I had only finished 1 book. So we got Verity. I actually picked this up used from my local bookstore, so it only costed me $5. I don't know why this is so heavy though, but this is literally the only other Colleen Hoover book I was interested in reading because she's very controversial, but also I think that would be a quick, fun read if I'm in the mood for it. If not, I'll probably just save it for January. Okay, let's go ahead and spin again. Oh my god. All right, well, it's on 1. That is so friggin' annoying. Like 5 million frigging ads. Okay, so I think we got 11 or 10. We got 10. Okay, we got 10. That's okay. So 10 should be, so far we've picked 5. We need 3 more. Is this one 10? No, that one's 11. So this one is 10. Okay. Great. We got 10. Let's go ahead and open this baby up. I think I know what this one is. Yeah, I think I do know what this one is. And this one is on my TBR for December. I think it's Brandon Sanderson's Waybreaker. Yes. Because I knew because it was a small book. So that actually makes me very happy. Again, we're picking ones that are already on my December TBR. But also I did want to put books that I was intending on reading before the end of the year in here. So I still want to read a Brandon Sanderson book. I think I told you guys that I wanted to get to one of his books at least before the end of the year. And this is a standalone fantasy. And I will talk about this more when we go into the synopsises and everything. I think I might have picked this out last month. I can't even remember. But I just want to be one of those people that says, yeah, I read a Brandon Sanderson book. So we got that one. So that's great. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin again. So we have 2 more spins. This stupid ad. I'm sorry, guys. I should have exited out. I think we already landed on 19. Let me just see if we picked that number already. Yes, we have. So we're going to spin again because for some reason it loves landing on the same numbers. So we're going to go ahead and spin again. Did we get 23? Yes. Okay, we finally got a 20 number. So we got 23. Okay, so 23 should be over here, and this is 23. I literally have no clue. Why do I say that every time? Okay, it's pretty thin. I really am not sure. It might be my, no, it's not My Brilliant Friend. Oh! Another one that's on my December TBR, Fan-fucking-tasmic. So this is Erin Sterling's The Kiss Curse. This is the second book in the X-Hex series. I still hadn't gotten to the second one. And this is actually going to be the first book that I read in December, or it might be the last book that I read in November because this is on my November TBR still. I am finishing just 3 more books before I get to this. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this in November though, because, you know, this is the last week before Thanksgiving. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to read during the week of Thanksgiving, but I wasn't even going to start this until Black Friday, which is the 30th. No, the 29th. Excuse me, because November only has 30 days. Duh. Wow, Caitlin, you can tell the dates on a calendar. That's great. So yeah, I really wanted to continue this, and I also really wanted to read this in October. I just ended up not getting to it. So we have the Kiss Curse, so that's awesome. That was already on my TBR anyway. It depends on if I'm able to finish it in November, and then I can just squeeze in another book, or just read that the very first day of December. Okay, let's spin for our last number, because we've drawn 7, and now this is number 8. So we have the number 12. I don't think I've gotten that number yet. No, I haven't. Okay, so this is 12. No idea. Why do I say that every time? Because I wouldn't know. Okay, this has raised writing. Why can't I remember what this is? Oh, okay. We have Frederick Bachman's Anxious People. Why can't I speak? I was about to say like angsty people. I actually have not read any Frederick Bachman, and I really, really do want to get into his books. Maybe we'll end up reading this before the end of the year. I'm not upset about this being on this TBR. That's actually kind of exciting. Sorry, I don't know why that just did that. So, yeah, we got the 8 books that I drew from this blind TBR, and honestly, I'm really happy with the ones that we chose. So these are the 8 books. So we're just going to go through them really quickly and put them on the TBR card. Okay, so the first book we drew was The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, and this is the first book in a fantasy series. So let's go ahead and bring it up, because I don't want to tell you guys any misinformation. And I believe this is a 2024 release, and it's a very, very popular fantasy book right now. Yes, it's called The Shadow of the Leviathan series, and this was released February 6th of this year. And the synopsis says, a Holmes and Watson style detective duo take the stage in this fantasy with a mystery twist from the Edgar-winning, multiple Hugo-nominated Robert Jackson Bennett. In Daritana's grandest mansion, an Imperial officer lies dead, killed to all appearances, when a tree erupted from his body. Even here at the Empire's borders, where contagions abound and the blood of the Leviathans work strange magical changes, it's a death both terrifying and impossible. Okay, that sounds amazing. I think I am going to get to this before the year is over, so let's go ahead and put it on the cart. Okay. Why am I doing this so backwards? Then the second book we chose was How to Walk Away by Catherine Center. I think I've read this synopsis before, so I'm not going to read it again, but you guys know she's just a default read author for me. I just want to read all of her books, so we're putting this on the TBR again, and I really would like to get to it before the year is over. And then the next book that I drew was Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This one says, Bee's theory was right. Forcing a scientist to work with her nemesis triggers explosive results. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get to this. We will see, but we're just going to put it on the cart because this is going to be my TBR for the month. Okay, then next up, I think we drew Daughter of the Pirate King. I think you guys have seen me talk about this a million times, but honestly, we might not get to Love on the Brain, and we might just read this over. No, we're not. This is not a might. This is a definite that we are reading. So we are going to be reading Daughter of the Pirate King, and we're going to be reading the trilogy, so that's going to be going up on the shelf as well after I put everything on the shelf. And then the next one is Colleen Hoover's Verity. This one sounds a little bit crazy, but We will see if we get to this, but again, like, these weren't really priority books, honestly. The only one that wasn't on my 10 before the end, and also my December TBR, was The Tainted Cup. But now I really do want to get to this, and also because this is a 2024 release, and I want to read as many 2024 releases as possible before the end of the year. I definitely did not get to all of the 2024 releases that I wanted to this year, but I got to all of the ones that I really did want to read, or the ones that I had caught up with the series with and was able to read them. So I think that's an accomplishment within itself. There was only like 3 series that I didn't get to, that I didn't catch up with it before the book that came out this year came out. Like The Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, which I don't know why I still didn't read that book. I like feel so dumb for not reading that. The Shadow of the Gods series, like the trilogy, the 3rd book just came out in October. And I forget what the other one is. But anyway, we'll see if we get to this. Probably not, though. This one says, Lolan Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of the financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. So that's what that one's about. I'm not going to go too in depth. Okay, then the next one we picked was Brandon Sanderson's Waybreaker. I think I've read the synopsis of this before, but it basically says, a standalone novel of the Cosmere universe shared by the Stormlight Archive and the Mistborn saga. So, again, this is a standalone. Honestly, I'd much rather get to this over Love on the Brain and Verity. So this is probably going to take priority over those two, because those ones were not on my radar. But again, most of these books were. And then the next one that we drew was Frederick Bachman's Anxious People. So I've heard really good things about Frederick Bachman's books. A lot of people love his books, but I have heard that if you do want to get into his books, you shouldn't start with this one. That's what I've seen, I think, from Destiny Sidwell or another YouTuber I really like. Basically, this one is about looking at real estate isn't usually a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes a group of 8 strangers hostage. Each of them carries a lifetime of grievances, hurts, secrets, and passions that are ready to boil over. None of them is entirely who they appear to be. So it just sounds so good. And I don't really care. I think I'm just going to read it anyway, whenever I can. But I finally read my first TJ Klune book this year, a week ago, and I fell in love with his writing. And then The Kiss Curse. I'm not going to read this synopsis again because I already read it in October. But this one we are still reading because I'm going to read The Wedding Witch during the month of Christmas. Yes, the month of Christmas is December. But also, I do want to read The Wedding Witch during the week of Christmas because it is a Christmas witchy book. So, and that one is also a 2024 release. So those are the blind TBR books. And now we're just going to go through the TBR shelf and tell you guys the rest of the books that I'm going to be putting on my December TBR. I'm not going to go too in depth with them. I'm just going to run through them really quickly because I already said what my 10 before the end books were going to be in that video, so you guys can just go check that video. I'm also going to put the books that we didn't draw in these envelopes on the shelf as well, because some of them are in the envelopes. So I'll be back. Okay guys, so now we're just going to talk about the rest of the books on my physical TBR that I would like to read this month. First is just one that I didn't get to last month, was Kristen Hanna's The Nightingale. I am reading this the first week of December. I really do want to read this before the year is over, so this one is definitely taking priority over everything else. I really did want to read it in November, but again, I'm just simply running out of time that I'm not going to be able to get to it. But this is going to be probably the second book I read right after The Kiss Curse, because I want to read The Kiss Curse first. And then we're going to read this, and then we're probably just going to read this next book that's right next to it, because this is also a new release, and I actually did read this series back in April, and this is now the new Inheritance Game, stories. This is actually a collection of short stories. It's called Games Untold by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to pick up the physical copy, but I actually got the Barnes & Noble edition, and it's like a really pretty, like, bronzy color, and I just thought that this was so, like, pretty looking. I was like, I kind of just want to own it. Or I might just read it and then just return it, depending on if it's good or not. But I really do enjoy the Inheritance Game series over the Grandest Game, because that was not very good. But I'm still going to read the second one because I've already read the Inheritance Games books. So I really did want to squeeze this in as another new release before the year is over. And again, this is a series that I caught up with, so I am able to read the newest book. Okay, and then I do have a couple of other books. So the other one is Jessica Joyce's You with a View. I really do want to read this in December, because this was going to be actually probably the next book that I read after Games Untold. Again, I'm probably not going to get to Love on the Brain, Verity, and Anxious People, but we'll keep them up there, you know? Like, depends on if I'm in the mood for something, then I'm going to read it. So, like I said, I like having bigger TBRs, because for me, and I didn't want to read the synopsis of Games Untold for people that haven't read them or haven't read Inheritance Games, but again, it's basically a collection of short stories based around the characters of the Inheritance Games series. So, and it came out, I believe it came out the same day as the third Crowns of Nexia book, which I read that a couple of days ago and I absolutely loved it. Oh wait, no. It came out the same day as Sky Shade. It came out November 12th, 2024. So it did come out the same day as the third Lightlark book, and I also did read that as well, and I really enjoyed both of them. But yeah, I really do want to read You with a View. This is the second book by Jessica Joyce that I own, because I did read The X-Vows back in October. It's like literally right there, and I really did enjoy it. So this one says, two former high school enemies must reunite for a road trip inspired by their grandparents' broken engagement in this electric debut romance. So this is her debut novel. So I don't know. I just really enjoyed her writing. So I really do want to read a little bit more from her. I don't know if I'm going to read her entire backlist, but I do want to read more of her books. Okay, so I'm putting this book on my TBR yet again, but I really do want to get to this before the year is over. If I don't end up reading this, it's probably going to be going on my January TBR, but I have to read it before February. Like, I just want to say that I've read a Stephen King book and a Brandon Sanderson book. I'll be like, yeah, I read a Stephen King book before. I don't know what it is. It's just like, I feel like I'm missing out. But also I just want to see what all the hype is about. So this one is called Billy Summers. This one is a thriller. It is not a horror book. And like I said, if I'm going to read any Stephen King, it's going to be a thriller. I am not a horror girly. It's just not my vibe. It's not my jam. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't like things that are too scary. But if I don't get to this or Verity, which I don't think I'm probably not going to get to either of them, I really do want to read The Silent Patient, because that one is also a really hyped up thriller. So I don't know, but I really do want to read this before the year is over. So I really don't know. We're going to have to see. Okay, and then I am going to be putting the Six of Crows on my TBR, and also I'm going to be putting Crooked Kingdom on it. I don't know why I didn't just put them together, because I only put Six of Crows in one of the envelopes, and I also put Billy Summers in one of the envelopes, but this actually won my Goodreads poll, because I did put another poll up saying, which series do I need to read before the end of the year? And mostly everybody said the Six of Crows duology. So I really want to get to this. I feel like I'm like literally the only person that hasn't read this. So these are both by Leigh Bardugo, and I've heard that these are even better than the Shadow and Bone trilogy. And also, you don't have to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy in order to read this. But in order to read the other two duology books, or the other duology that's set in the same universe, like the Grishaverse, you have to read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom in order to read those two other books. So I think I might just read these two and then I might read those two. Because I've seen from people that try to read Shadow and Bone, they end up DNFing it. And I was never intending on reading it anyway because I watched the TV series and I enjoyed it. And there was also supposed to be a TV series for Six of Crows. I guess Netflix never picked it up because I think the second season of Shadow and Bone really underperformed because it really was not as good as the first one. The first season was so good. I watched the second season on my own. My family did not even want to watch it with me, even though they loved the first season so much. Like, they could not even, like, get through the second season of Shadow and Bone, and they're, like, pickier than I am. So I ended up enjoying it, but it kind of felt like a rinse and repeat, basically, of the first book and the first series. So it is what it is. And then we are just going to also put the rest of the Daughter of the Pirate King trilogy up here. So we're putting these on the TBR yet again. So we're going to be putting them up here as well. I still had my November TBR up here, but honestly, I only had one more physical book I was going to read. I've actually been reading a ton on my Kindle because the Kindle reads I've been reading are all the romantasy books that I was going to be reading before the end of this year. And also, I did a full romantasy vlog on new release romantacies and also super hyped and popular romantasy books. I just finished Quicksilver last night by Callie Hart, and that's probably like the biggest romantasy book this year besides When the Moon Hatched. But honestly, I kind of soft DNF'd When the Moon Hatched because I tried to listen to the audiobook. I just could not stand the narrator's voice. I just could not stand her voice. I don't know what it was. It just bothered me that it like affected me processing what was going on in the book, that I was like, I can't do it. So I might just come back to that book and just read it on Kindle in like a whole nother like romantasy vlog where I read like The Bridge Kingdom and This Woven Kingdom and When the Moon Hatched. But I'm really happy with the choices that I made for this romantasy vlog video. I'm reading my 7th book right now for the video, and I was supposed to read 8 for it. So I'm on my 7th one. I only got one more. So I read Quicksilver, absolutely loved it. You're not going to see this video until after that video's up anyway, because I should be able to finish the books that I'm reading, which I only have 2 left. I'm on the 7th one now, which is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. It's so good so far. So I'm currently reading that. I'm almost 200 pages into it. And then I'm going to be reading Bloodguard. So, and then I have kind of 2 more books before the end of the month, which is The Kiss Curse, and I'll show you the other one because it actually was not on my November TBR. It's actually a book that I got from the library that I thought would just be a perfect book to read for Thanksgiving. So now we just have another trilogy because I did say I was going to get to this series this year as well, and that is the Belladonna trilogy. And this was actually voted as the second place on the Goodreads poll that I posted of which series do I need to read before the end of the year. And this got like 6 votes, and Six of Crows got like 7. So, the trilogy, I don't have the first one, and I think I've explained this like 50 million times, but the first book is on Kindle Unlimited. And also, if I had known that Daughter of the Pirate King, the first book was going to be on Kindle Unlimited, I wouldn't have bought the first one. But honestly, I want to see if I like Belladonna first, but also that would be kind of a waste because like I said, I did buy the Barnes & Noble edition with the sprayed edges. They're just such beautiful books. And Wisteria has like such a beautiful interior hardback. It's so pretty. Like, if I don't end up liking these books, I'll just end up loving the insides. But I've heard nothing but great things about this. And it sounds right up my alley. So I really do want to read this trilogy before the year is over. But yeah, if I do end up loving this series, or if I end up really liking it, I think I am going to buy the first book, because it's going to irk me that I don't own all three of them. So it is what it is. I don't normally buy books that are on Kindle Unlimited unless I really actually love them, or if it's a series that I don't have the complete series because I read the first book on Kindle Unlimited. So it is what it is, but let me live my life, okay? I'm not like other YouTubers where like I have to buy every single book that I read on Kindle Unlimited, because that would be freaking ridiculous. Okay, and then the last book that is not a Christmas book, because then the other three books are Christmas books, is another standalone fantasy, and I really, really want to read this before the year's over. I'm probably going to read this over Billy Summers, but this is going to be the TBR for this month. It's a very big TBR, but again, it just depends on my mood. But there are going to be priority series, and already 10 books up here that are priority books for me to read before I move on to the other ones. Or if I want a palate cleanser, then I can read one of the other books. So the last one that's not a Christmas book is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. I really do want to read this in December, and I probably will. It's only 400 pages, and it's a standalone fantasy. And this one just is so highly acclaimed. And this says, the first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever in this standalone dark fantasy from the author of The Sword of Kagan. For 20 years, Sionia, whatever her name is. I can never say her name. Siana has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the high magistracy at the University of Magics and Industry. So, just sounds so cool. It kind of sounds similar to the premise of Jade and Dragons. Wow, I can't speak. But it sounds better, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this. Books with Emily Fox actually recommended this one. She also recommended The Tainted Cup. She said that these two books were her two favorite fantasy books of like the whole year. And this is a start of a series, and this is a standalone, so I don't really feel overwhelmed. And the reason why, the only time I start a series is when only one book is out, and we're waiting for the second one like next year. I'm not going to start like a bunch of series and not finish them. I hate doing that. I usually don't do that. So I don't even know where I'm going to stick this one. I think I might just put it on the end. I'm going to put this Brandon Sanderson one somewhere else because I feel like it's going to get lost with these hardbacks. Okay, and then the rest of them are all Christmas books. So let me just pull up the other two. I already have one of them on my Kindle. I'm not sure if I'm going to read this one on Kindle as well. I might just order this one during Black Friday to see what Amazon's deals are for Black Friday for books. Because this one is expensive, not just ordering it on Kindle, but also getting it as a paperback. So if it is cheaper on Amazon during Black Friday, like the paperback, then I'm going to get it. If the Kindle version is cheaper on Black Friday, then I'll just get it on Kindle. If it's like $5, then I'll just get it there. And like I said, it's the third book in the X-Hex series, which is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. And this is the first Christmas book that I'm going to be reading. I already have three Christmas books planned. I might also read a Hanukkah book. I'm not sure yet, because Hanukkah's literally the day after Christmas, and I thought it would be fun just to like add a Hanukkah book in there, because I am Jewish. So this one, and what's so funny is that all of my Christmas reads are all continuations of series that all came out in 2024, and they all came out in October, and they're all Christmas books. that I literally read all of the books before. Well, I haven't read The Kiss Curse yet, but I'm about to. But they're all continuations of series. I was like, how did that work out for me? That my Christmas reads are all continuations of series that I caught up with. And I didn't even do that on purpose. I just wanted to read those books. So this one says, Bowen Penhallow has always been a loner, studying dark and ancient magic on a mountaintop in Wales. He prefers it that way, but when his friend Declan, who happens to be a ghost, asks him to attend a Yuletide wedding at a grand estate deep in the Welsh countryside, Bowen reluctantly agrees. Tamsin Blythe is not a witch, but she makes her living off of them. As a procurer and seller of magical items, Tasman's business is not always above board, but she's been trying to fix that mostly. Bowen is an occasional customer as well as the star of several of Tasman's dirtiest dreams, but she's been around enough witches to know that as a human, getting involved with one is not the smartest idea. You get the gist. So I'm going to be reading that, and then the other one that I have is again a continuation of a series, and that is The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. I am one of those people that cannot read a Christmas book or touch Christmas anything. So This is the other Christmas book. It's the third book in the Dream Harbor series, and it just came out last month. And it says, from the author of the Pumpkin Spice Cafe comes the only spicy, grumpy time sunshine Christmas rom-com you need this year. Kira North hates Christmas, which is unfortunate since she just bought a Christmas tree farm in a town that's too cute for its own good. Bennett Ellis is on vacation in Dream Harbor, taking a break from his life in California, and most importantly, taking a break from his latest run of disastrous dates. After a run-in with Kira in her fields, Ben has no intention of offering to help the grumpy owner set up a tree farm, despite the fact she's clearly got no idea what she's doing. So I already ordered that on Kindle, and it was only $5, so that's why I just purchased that on Kindle. I don't really intend on owning those books because they're not that great, but they're just a fun, good old, spicy romance time, and I think it'll be perfect. I might actually just read that on Christmas. And then the last Christmas book is Spectacular by Stephanie Garber, and this is the Christmas novella in the Caraval series. This is just a really, really short, Christmas whimsical kind of time, and it has, all of these, really pretty illustrations in it. Let me just show you guys one of the pages. Just really, really pretty. And basically this kind of just reminds me of A Court of Frost and Starlight from the ACOTAR series. It's just a holiday novella that's after the Caraval trilogy, and people say you should read Caraval before you read this, but honestly, if you just decided to have a good whimsy Christmas time with this, I don't think it's a big deal if you just read this. So it says, is a great holiday eve. Snowflakes are falling, invitations are arriving, and holiday magic is swirling. Scarlet Dragna is planning a spectacular holiday celebration for the city. Donatella is searching for the perfect gift. Julian is looking ridiculously handsome and green. And Legend, well, sadly, Legend is not fond of the great holiday. Tella is hoping to find the perfect gift and will change his mind. Unfortunately, she hasn't found the perfect gift just yet, but it is great holiday eve. Surely there's some holiday magic swirling around. So I just thought this would be really cute for Christmas. And yeah, that is my entire December TBR. Let me just put this one over here. I think that's pretty much it. And again, if I get to The Silent Patient, that might just be the last book that I read in December. But I have to go right now, but I might just talk about them sitting over there because it's my brother's birthday and my mom wants to do a birthday cake thing really quick. So I'll be back in 10 minutes, but it'll be 2 seconds for you guys. Hey guys, so I just wanted to talk about the last 2 books that are on my November TBR. I'm definitely going to get to read this one, and then depending on how much time we have, I might end the month with a thriller. Oh, also I am listening to an audiobook thriller. I'm listening to Listen for the Lie, and I will talk about that in a second. I'm actually listening to that while I'm reading all these romantasy books, and I'm hoping to finish that before the month is over. It's not a big deal if I don't, because I have been listening to quite a bit of the audiobook. I mean, quite a bit of the audiobooks. Obviously, they're called audiobooks of the romantasy books, as well as reading them. So I got through a lot of The Dagger and the Flame because I was listening to the audiobook today, because I wasn't going to have as much time to read it physically. But I'm like 200 pages in now, so I think I only read like maybe 50 pages physically, which is still not a big deal. I'm still going to read more of it tonight and hopefully get like maybe like to page 250. That's like exactly halfway, because it's 500 pages. So I'm hoping to finish it tomorrow. But again, I do have a Friendsgiving to go to tomorrow. So I did see Wicked earlier today and it was so good. What was I doing? I forgot already. I was just bringing up the other book that because I kind of want to mood read for the next week, because after I finish all of these romantasy books, I kind of just want to read books that I'm in the mood for. So I have been in the mood for a thriller. So the first one is the library book that I checked out, because honestly, I loved this book from this author that I read. This was one of the first books that I read in the beginning of the month, and it was actually the book that was tied with Metal Slinger that won my Goodreads poll prompts for last month, and I actually read 3 out of the 4 books that were on that poll, which was Under the Whispering Door, Metal Slinger, and The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie by Rachel Linden. So I decided to pick up my very first library book and check out my first library book, and that is Recipe for a Charmed Life by Rachel Linden. I thought this just would be so cute to read during Thanksgiving. This is like the ultimate comfort read, because it's like all about food and it's kind of like magical realism. So I thought this would be really cute to read during Thanksgiving. So I'm just going to read this right after Bloodguard. So again, I'm still sticking to my TBR basically the entire month. I just really do want to read this during Thanksgiving. But I read every other book except for Nightingale and those 2 trilogies that I told you about, and The Kiss Curse. So I didn't get to 8 books on my TBR, but I put like over 20 on my TBR and I got to all of those books. So I still feel pretty accomplished. So this one says, American chef Georgia May Jackson has one goal: to run her own restaurant in Paris. After a grueling decade working in Parisian kitchens, she is on the cusp of success. But in one disastrous night, Georgia loses her sous chef position, her French boyfriend, and her sense of taste. Renowned for her refined palate and daring use of bold flavors to create remarkable dishes, Georgia is devastated to discover her culinary gift has simply vanished. When she receives a surprising invitation from her estranged mother, Georgia flees to a small island near Seattle, hoping the visit will help her regain her spark in the kitchen. As she tentatively reconnects with her mom, a free-spirited hippie eager to make up for her past mistakes, Georgia realizes there is something about the enigmatic island she just cannot piece together. Good luck charms start appearing in the oddest places. Her neighbor is a puzzlingly agatonistic and annoyingly handsome oyster farmer, and her mom keeps hinting at a mysterious family legacy. With the clock ticking and time running out to win her dream job in Paris, Georgia begins to unravel some astonishing secrets that make her wonder if the true recipe for a charmed life might look and taste very different than she ever imagined. That looks so adorable. That sounds so adorable. And again, the perfect mood read and the perfect atmospheric read to read during Thanksgiving. So I'm super excited to read that. I really enjoyed The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie. So now I am going to be reading another book from her in the same month. I might end the month with this book though, because I might just binge this on Saturday, because I kind of just want to binge a thriller. And that is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This book is so popular. It has 2.5 million ratings on Goodreads. And what's so funny is that I'm reading The Dagger and the Flame right now, and I just watched one of my other booktubers that just did a 24-hour readathon on her channel, and she had just read in that video, 2 out of the 3 books she read in that video was The Dagger and the Flame and The Silent Patient. And those were the 2 books that she actually finished in that video. She actually didn't finish the 3rd one, which I probably would only get through 2.5 books as well. So I think that's so funny. So it kind of made, and also I was just thinking about picking up this book like 2 days ago, and then she just so happened to read both of them in her video. So another coincidence. So this one says, Alicia Barrison's life is seemingly perfect. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer, she lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. Alicia's refusal to talk or give any kind of explanation turns a domestic tragedy into something far grander, a mystery that captures the public imagination and casts Alicia into notoriety. The price of her art skyrockets, and she, the silent patient, is hidden away from tabloids and spotlight at the Grove, a secure forensic unit in London, North London. Theo Faber is a criminal psychotherapist who has waited a long time for the opportunity to work with Alicia. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband takes him down a twisting path into her own motivations, a search for the truth that threatens to consume him. The Silent Patient is a shocking psychological thriller of a woman's act of violence against her husband and of the therapist obsessed with uncovering her crime. I've heard really, really great things about this book. It has more 5-star. It has over 1 million 5-star ratings and 943,000 4-star ratings. So overall, people really do love this one. I've only seen very few people not really like it, but overall, it's one of the most beloved thriller books, and I can't believe I haven't read it yet, so I really do want to read it. So I'm probably just going to binge that on my Kindle, and then the other one that I'm reading right now, because I wanted to read at least 2 more thrillers before the year is over, is Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. I'm listening to the audiobook because everybody says in order to experience this book literally like the right way is to listen to the audiobook. And if you want to read the physical book, that's your choice. But I'm saying in order to not the right way, but to enhance your reading experience. Sorry, that sounds like a little bit closed off. To enhance your reading experience of reading this book, listen to the audiobook because, oh my God, it is amazing because it's all done in a podcast form, and it's all different voices for all the characters, and so far I'm having such a good time. I think I got a little bit over 2 hours in. It's only a 9-hour audiobook, and it's been so good so far. It says, what if you thought you murdered your best friend, and if everyone else thought so too? And what if the truth doesn't matter? Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of the small Texas town. Pretty smart and enviable. Lucy is married to a dream guy with a big ring and even bigger new home. Savvy was the social butterfly loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. But after Lucy is found wandering the streets, covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she is a murderer. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, and she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast Listen for the Lie and its 2 good-looking hosts, Ben Owens, have decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's 2nd season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed never to set foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she is the one who did it. The truth is out there if we just listen. Sorry, I ended up reading the synopsises, all the full synopsises, for all 3, but, they just all sound so good. So yeah, that is basically the rest of my year TBR. Let me know what's on your December TBR, what your priority reads are. Let me know. Do you care? Are you reading any of these? Please let me know. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. And I hope you guys have an incredibly successful reading month in December. I know we put a lot of pressure on what books we get to by the end of the year, but honestly, we're still reading, and whatever you read is your choice. Don't pressure yourself to get to the books you haven't. If you're in the mood to read something that is not something that you've picked up yet, Don't feel guilty about it. You'll get to it when you're in the mood for it. So yeah, keep reading. Bye.